What books am I currently reading? Number 1 on my list is a book called Pure Narco by Jesse Fink and Louis Navier. I will put all the links down below to Amazon links where you can buy these books. This was a book that was purchased for me for my birthday, I think. It's a book about this Cuban American drug smuggler that he was kind of at the top levels of the drug smuggling community until he was caught in, I think it was about 2002, something like that, and he turned informant and works for the government, and it's an amazing life story. You know, he's not one of the violent guys. He's honest that he's done a lot of immoral things in a lot of people's eyes, but it's amazing how he was in it for I think 25 years and he managed to stay away from doing like a lot of the violence himself, and it's just an incredible tale. The guy's funny and it's written in collaboration with an Australian journalist, so that the story is well crafted and you can follow a through line. Next up is another book brought for me called How's Your Soul by Judah Smith. It's just kind of like a Christian devotional, and I'm kind of about 5% into that, and I'm about 20% into Pure Narco, by the way. Next up, I've been reading Of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill. Many thanks to Bookish Benny on the SFF Oasis Discord for sending me this arc that I purchased from him. I had previously read up to about 28% on my Kindle, and then my mood reading got in the way, so I've started again. I'm on about 6% here, and it's going well, but the next book I'm going to talk about has stolen my reading, which is why I'm only 6% into this. Curse of the Mistwraith by Miss Janny Wirtz. Now this book is just absolutely phenomenal so far. I'm about 40% into it, and I just, you know, this book, there's some magic on this, because I've been trying to pin it down so I get to my other books and I just can't. Every time it just calls out to me, and I always take this to work with me and read. I mean, it's a very layered prose is how I would put it. So I only get to read a few pages at work. I only get about half an hour. Honestly, it's incredible. You know, there's so much richness and depth to it. I mean, Janny had been creating it for about 20 years, I think, before she started writing it. And it's true, I've heard it's kind of like it kind of unveils layers as it goes along, and you do really kind of start to learn the deeper motivations and the deep richness behind this world and this narrative and the characters within it. And honestly, I don't think I've ever read something that's got such in-depth world building. I mean, I guess Middle-earth Tolkien would probably be the equivalent, but with Tolkien, a lot of the world building is done in the appendices and stuff like the Silmarillion and the wider kind of canon of Middle-earth, whereas the world building is just baked into this book. And you know, it starts off with a really good pace, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we learn a lot of very interesting things, and I think I'm about to hit the mark where it starts to pick up. So I'm sure, I mean, I read the first 40% of this in about 5 days, and this is a big book. It's like 800 pages or so. So I am currently 342 pages in. And then also, I'm listening to the Fellowship of the Ring on audio. I will put a link down below. I'm listening to the fan-made audiobook, which is absolutely stunning, incredible, by Philip Dagrash. And he's created kind of like a Lord of the Rings soundscape audiobook, is what he calls it. Essentially, he does all the voices, the characters. He puts in music from the films to accompany the audiobook, and he puts in sound effects. And there's also a Hobbit version of this that I listened to by a guy called Bluefax, and it's basically the same thing. Includes the music from the movies, and the character voice work is inspired by the movies, and it really brings me back to that feeling of when I first watched those movies as a young kid, especially The Hobbit, because I watched those in cinema, and it's just incredible. I'm about 35% through that. And then also, currently, I am listening to A Drowned Kingdom by P.L. Stewart, which is my main audiobook at the moment. So Fellowship of the Ring is kind of on the back burner. but my main one that I listen to on the way to work or at work is A Drowned Kingdom. Now this one, I'm enjoying this one, but I have some thoughts on it. I think that the way that it's framed, the way it's written in the first person style narrative, it works. It's a difficult start, basically. It's very upfront world building. Now, I did win a giveaway for the physical copy as well, which PL is going to be sending to me soon, and I think maybe it would have been better to hold off till I get the physical copy so I can see the maps, I can read the names, because it's hard to keep track of all the names, the histories, when you're listening to audiobook. And I've heard it compared to like the Silmarillion in terms of that kind of style of retelling the tales within, and it is very tell not show, this book. And so I did struggle with that at first just because of concentration, and I really wanted to love this book. And it's a really interesting world, and the way that PL has created it and crafted it, and he's clearly thought deeply about the different civilizations and things. And I think it is justified, it does pay off, because even you get to see this world built up in front of you just before it all comes crashing down, which isn't a spoiler, by the way, because it's like on the back page, and like the book literally begins with the destruction of this civilization as some of the inhabitants escape. And so I'm enjoying it a lot more now that I'm in about 40% into that. So I'm actually going about the same pace for that and Curse of the Mistwraith. Stardust Thief, I just started that. I'm 11% into that, by Chelsea Abdullah, and this is kind of like a retelling of the Arabian Nights or 1001 Nights, and Chelsea is from that area of the world, and so it's very authentic feeling, and I'm loving it so far. It's the prose is it's a nice change from a lot of the dense prose that I've been reading a lot of recently, but that doesn't mean that it's any lesser. I think it's really well crafted, and it really slips you into the world, and it's a really nice and easy read, and I'm really enjoying it. There's clearly a love of storytelling behind it, and I'm a big fan of storytellers and kind of oral storytelling. I love hearing bard tales in books, things like that. So this is right up my street. I'll have more thoughts about that on the next month, so I'll be reading all of these books into the next month, but I mean I probably should finish 2 or 3 before June finishes out. So yeah, my months are I kind of started in the middle of the month, so my months are kind of funny. So, but this is how we do it, and that's what I've been reading this month. So, just to go over what's going to happen next month in June briefly, like I said, I'm going to finish these books here, and I should finish at least Curse of the Mistwraith and A Drowned Kingdom, if not How's Your Soul as well. Also, I am going to be reading Women of Ash and Shadow by H.L. or Holly Tinsley, which I started previously, but I had other commitments, and I'm going to come back to that. And that's kind of like a semi-grimdark gaslight fantasy, and that's something very different to what I normally read. I did read the first sort of 30%, I think, and I was really enjoying the world, and it is very gritty and seedy and dark, and it's a very different vibe. I was enjoying that. Then there's also Wolfeater by Anthony Mitchell. Now, Anthony very kindly sent me a copy of the Kindle book to review. I felt really bad because he sent me this a few months ago, and it was at the time it was next on my to be read list, and then I've slotted other things in. Finally, I will be getting to this and reviewing it for Anthony, because he needs more reviews on his Goodreads. I mean, for authors, reviews are kind of life or death. So please, if you've read this book or might be interested in reading it, I'll put the link down below and have a look, check it out, or review it on Goodreads. If you've read it, please, it would be so helpful to Anthony, and thanks to Anthony for sending me that copy. I will be getting to that. I have got another book that I can slot in. Now, I was either going to start Red Rising, which is currently on the stack of books holding up this phone that I'm recording on, or I was going to start Blood of the Spear by Mark Timoney, which is a Kindle book. At the minute, I think Red Rising is winning out, but I definitely cannot wait to get to Blood of the Spear. It's only like $2.99 now, or free on Kindle Unlimited, and it was Mark's birthday the other day. I put that on Twitter, So please, please, please go check out Mark Timony's book Blood of the Spear, and let me know which one you think I should slot in, Red Rising or Blood of the Spear, because funnily enough, I'm actually slightly ahead on where I thought I would be. And then also on the channel, I'm going to be having more skits, more fun, more enjoyment. You guys seem to love that, and I love making it for you. So that's all coming up next month. Thank you.